All right, so the dev stream has concluded, which means it's now my turn to talk about the upcoming vehicles in the next major update. And if you're a regular of the channel, that means you guys get to hear my thoughts and opinions, as well as a quick overview of each and every one of the vehicles Gaijin has given me access to. And as a side note, the anniversary sales have started. Yeah, I didn't know it was today, to be honest. So if by any chance you guys do want to support me as a creator, use my discount link, would you? It's down below in the description, the updated link anyways. And no, it won't help you with an extra 3%, but I still see 3%, so it supports me. So if you guys could do that, I would greatly appreciate it. I might have a dedicated video about the sales coming up soon, so keep an eye out for that notification. However, before I do get into the meat of this video, please keep in mind, this is the dev server, which means everything is subject to change. And if there's something you don't like, go over to the forums, provide the information necessary to get that change done, and it might just happen. It happens quite a bit, actually. And when it comes to the vehicles that I'm allowed access to, there might be some that I'm missing. Features, new modes perhaps, but most certainly there's probably gonna be a vehicle or two that I miss, either because of my own lack of awareness, because I do miss out on some vehicles from time to time, or perhaps Gaijin just didn't give me access to it because it's just not ready for us yet. And before you ask, no, I don't get to keep the 14 million golden eagles. I'd love to, but we don't. It's just a creator thing. So as always, please take everything you're gonna be seeing and hearing in this video with a gigantic grain of salt. And if I miss something, let me know in the comments, please, and feel free to open a discussion down there too. So with all that being said, let's dive into the first one by doing this awkward transition to keep things a little bit organized in case you skipped the intro. And of course, we're starting off with the Americans. So let's start off with, of course, the AH-56A for the Americans, sitting at battle rating 9.7 for the time being. I'm surprised we didn't get this helicopter early on, though better late than never. Now, this is a very interesting helicopter because, of course, the BR is very good, in my opinion, for what it features, right? You get tow missiles with 3.75 kilometer engagement range. But here's the thing, you get a 40 millimeter gun with decent penetration, actually not bad, 51. And you also get access to, my guess is generation 1 thermal sights, which is pretty interesting for a helicopter of this caliber. It was first, debuted, I think, in the Vietnam War, which means this is an old helicopter, to which I am very happy to see in the game. And then next up, we have the F-15C Golden Eagle. It's not like the Golden Eagle you see here. Now, I won't go into specifics about this. I'm pretty sure it has, better thrust. It has more modern avionics, I believe it is. Again, this is not my area of expertise. However, I will say this. When it comes to a 14.3, or excuse me, let me fix that, a 13.0 aircraft, it does have, I would say, mediocre capabilities when it comes to its CAS. Sure, you get JDAMs, GNSS. I personally don't like to use them. Yeah, you get the laser-guided rockets, and you also get TV-guided missiles. But when it comes to its ground pounding in total, I would not really recommend this. However, when it comes to air-to-air prowess, it's an F-15. I will let the pros be the ones to talk more about that. And the next up, we have a big boat, the USS Oregon City. Naval's not my strong suit either, so I'm not really going to talk about it too much. However, I will say this. This is the M1A2 Set V2. Nothing new. However, Gaijin did do a couple of things to most of the top tier tanks at around 12.7. You can now take off the Tusk kit. The only reason why wow, that looks pretty cool actually. I never played this vehicle is because this Tusk kit was just too heavy. It was unnecessary. I don't like how big the machine gun is up here. However, you do save a lot of weight. And you have a better vehicle overall, because let's be honest here, the area on the side, it rarely ever helps me. But I guess that kind of does it for this. Oh, actually, one more thing. I almost forgot. Optical lock. A lot of top tier tanks. I forget which one the T90 does. I have a list that I'll show you guys right here that has now IRST or optical locking for aircraft on MBTs, which means this is going to be mean with the MPAT round, assuming it has it. But let's jump over to the Germans. Now, I'm sorry to say, my German mains out there, you're not really getting much when it comes to ground, at least not yet anyways. However, you do have access to some new models to existing vehicles, the Tiger II and the SLA-16, to which these look nice. I'm pretty sure Gaijin was going to be doing this in the previous update, but they're bringing it in the very next one, so there's that too. Moving forward, we have the Koenig. I can't quite say it, so I do apologize. Again, naval is not my strong suit. I apologize for the shorter bits of the Germans, but it is what it is. But next up, we have, of course, the Russians. So when it comes to the new vehicle being the T-34-85 Tehran, this doesn't really come to us as a surprise because Gaijin already talked about this in their pre-dev blog a couple of weeks ago, and it's simply just a stabilized T-34-85 with a vertical stabilizer, no horizontal, which means you're not really going to be able to pivot and get accurate shots. Now, how strong the stabilizer is, does it maintain itself over 25 kilometers an hour? That's going to be the real question, to which we will find out in the live server, or maybe even here in the dev. And then next up, we have the BTR-82AT anti-tank, obviously, or at least I'm assuming it is. This is not bad, 9.0, but here's the thing. It has the 9M133 with 1200 millimeters of penetration at this battle rating. It is stabilized too, as you can see. That's interesting, actually. A 9.0 with a good missile like that, good mobility, no armor, but you get spall liner? That's interesting. I didn't know that. Cool. It's not going to help in much, to be honest, because you have no armor as is, and you do have access to, let me go ahead and GE this really quick, to better armor, additional ballistic, which is just slats. Will you want to use this? Maybe. At this BR, I think it might be a little useful, but this is going to be interesting. You get APDS as well for the belt here, which is not bad. Yeah, this is going to be a solid vehicle in my opinion. I'm looking forward to it for sure. And then next up we have a premium Su-30. But here's the thing about this. Yeah, it might be quote unquote inferior, I believe, because it is an export vehicle to Venezuela. But here's the thing. They get access to a new type of missile. In fact, I believe this is a cruise missile. 120 kilometer launch range. It is a TV, IOG, and GPS guided bomb. High explosive only. Here's the thing, I don't believe it's gonna be that useful at such distances or even nearby. I don't really know how to use GNSS function properly, so I'm not gonna say that it's not doable, but hey, you know what? If you wanna use this, you're more than welcome to do so. I'm gonna try it for sure, but man, this cruise missile, Tomahawk when, Gaijin, just saying. And you get a ton of ordnance, right? You get the RBBAE, which is an all aspect, not all aspect, it is actually radar guided missile. I guess it's basically an R77, just exported, my guess. R27s, you get, I believe, R73Es. Yes, you do. Okay, does it get HMD though? Let me take a look at that really quick. I'm curious myself. I'm sure it does. It does. Okay. Premium. This is gonna be interesting. I'm sorry, Top Tier Air. You guys are gonna have a lot of fun with this, I think. And then we have a boat, the Airven. Yeah, it's a boat. You guys know the whole deal. So next up is the British. I was going to start this off by saying, damn, my British mains out there, you guys aren't getting much today, but I don't think you need much more because the Hawk 200 comes in at 10.7, which by the way is a brilliant BR right now because of the decompression. Trust me, you gotta play it. It's a ton of fun. But this thing comes with some good ordnance. You get not only at the same BR 10.7, a bunch of 9Ls, but also Maverick missiles. This BR is not bad. Actually, pair them up with them or just go ground pounding. And apparently from what I've seen, it's not a half bad dogfighter either with some good guns. So I'm looking forward to seeing this in the proper hands of good skilled pilots. And I might even do a wombo combo showcasing the Mavericks in use at this BR. But that's honestly really it for the British. Up next is the Japanese. Now, when it comes to the Japanese, you guys are really only getting vessels this update. There might be some changes later on, of course, but you do have access to a premium battleship, which is the Nagato, and the Musashi, which not only rolls off the tongue very well, but this looks like a mean vessel. Now, I don't play naval that much, but I do dabble in it from time to time. I'm just waiting for submarines. I think that's when I'm really going to be jumping in on this kind of stuff, which it's in the mobile version of the game, but not here. Yeah, well, it is what it is, but for the time being, that's all you guys are getting. So up next is the Chinese, which might come as a bit of a surprise. Now, China, I think, is getting quite a few interesting vehicles. First one being, of course, is the CM34. 9.3, 30mm gun. You get APFS-DS. It's pretty much the same as you would find with any other vehicle of similar caliber. Laser warning. It probably has optical lock. Let me double check that. I would well imagine it would at this BR. You get spall liner. Let me see. You usually find it in the gunner optics. You do. Track IRST. Awesome. So a lot of spallline. Holy crap. This will be fun. Definitely keep an eye out for this video release. And of course, the Chinese are getting an oplot. Yeah, it's a Pakistani oplot, which from what I can see right now, and I'm sure it's going to change, of course, this is pretty much a copy paste of the oplot we have for the Japanese tech tree. And there's not a whole lot of difference from it from what I can really see. I'll have to do a comparison a little bit later, but off the top of my head, everything pretty much looks the same. And going back to it, of course, you have the same missile, the same BTA-4, the same very bad vertical targeting speed. It's the biggest downside of this vehicle, in my opinion. Same APS. Yeah, that's interesting. And then we have a premium JH7. Yeah, I didn't really see this one coming, so that's completely fine by me. What's it get? You get the PL5C, the PL8s, you get the 29Ts, you get GBUs. Cool. Well, they're not GBUs, of course, but they're guided bombs. All right, so the same as the tech tree version. I'm not against that. Some more CAS for us. Not that they're going to mean much in this BR. But when it comes to the helicopter, not much has changed except for one thing. They're now getting access to the BA-11 missile. 1200 millimeter, 16 kilometer engagement distance, 16 guarantee, 20 kilometer lock in total, and it's IR, of course, which should basically bring this up because the previous missiles, if I could go and find them, these things, they suck. I'm sorry, I barely used them. And when I did, they sucked. Yeah, take my word for it. So that does it for the Chinese. Next up is the Italians. So nothing terribly exciting for my Italian mains out there when it comes to the high tier, top tier experience. You do get access to the MB326K, which I want to see what this has. Let's see. Bombs, just bombs and guns, lots of guns. 7.62s though. Good rockets. My guess, 7.0. Does it have CCIP? It does not. That'll be interesting. And then you have the C13 TUA. It's basically a better Wally. Probably more mobile. Probably, okay, the armor is not that great. So, cool. Another Wally. Did you know that the one we have for the Americans is actually located over in Battlefield Vegas? So it's local to me, and I've actually driven by it several times. I just never get a time or a chance to take a photo, but it is there, which is awesome. And then we have a boat. Yeah, another big boat. Cool. I think Napalm Rat is the go-to for naval stuff. If you guys want to go ahead and check them out, feel free to do so. But that does it for the Italians. So to my French mains out there, you guys are getting some pretty interesting additions in this major update. Starting off, of course, with the Fokker D, which is not my area of expertise. I will say that again, of course, but I will say this. It is ugly and I can appreciate it. However, this is the selling point, to me at least, when it comes to the French top tier. The Jaguar has arrived, and it has some good capabilities too. Of course, it's fast. You can't really, fault that, of course. It has good APFSDS for the BR anyways, which, though the penetration value is not the best, I can guarantee you it is going to get the job done at this BR. But you also get access to proxy rounds, or excuse me, timed fuse with a severe lack of proxy, which I can appreciate that for the sake of balance, though it's no 2S38, which would be nice if it did get it, but I guess it is what it is. And also, you get access to a new missile, the Acheron MP, if I'm saying that right. It's basically a spike missile. That's all you really have to know about this. So how this will perform is beyond me. How many missiles? Really? Only 2? Oh, spall liner everywhere, though, which is very nice. Let's get rid of the armor parts. Really? Only 2? Gaijin, I get it, right? This is a compact looking vehicle, but man, you couldn't sneak in another 2? And they fired an angle as well, which means, yikes. Well, this should be interesting. At least it has that autocannon to make up for it just a little bit. And of course, we have another boat. The, I might be saying this wrong, La Brutois or something. If I said that right, I'd be surprised, man. But what's it got? What's all this stuff on it? Hold up. It gets torpedoes. Torpedoes? Those are like regular launchers. Okay. Again, naval is not my area that I like to play in, so yeah. But next up is the Swedish. On second thought, you guys don't get anything. Yeah, I'm really sorry to say, guys. There's literally nothing for them right now. So to my Mains out there. I do apologize, guys. So off to Israel. So it doesn't look like Israel is getting too much this update, except for just these two from what I could find. The Zelda 60mm, which, okay, 7.7. It gets darts. I mean, if this is anything like the, oh my God, what's that Italian 60mm gun, the event vehicle, that sucks. If it's anything like that, I don't expect this to do too well, but at 7.7, it's not outright terrible. Is it stabilized? Yes, it is. How are the gun sights on it? That might be the selling point. 7 times. Whew, M113 chassis though, so this will be interesting for sure. I'm actually looking forward to it. Funny enough, I might even make a video on it, who knows. And we have a premium, the MD 450B. Cool. Yeah, I guess that kind of does it for the overview. Let's talk about some of the features in this game. That's coming up anyways. So I want to talk about some of the upcoming features for top tier tanks, namely being the new optical lock for MBTs, which it should show you here in the fire control system. There we go. Track IRST 10 kilometer, which is interesting. Let's go over into a test drive really quick. I just want to take a look at this if we could. All right, let's see what we got. Oh man, it's not even close to it, but this is actually going to be really interesting. Is there any other aircraft nearby? Hold up, there we go. Let's see. Now, oh wow, even has a lead to it too. I pride myself on taking shots at aircraft, if you guys didn't already know, but try this. No, I'm gonna have to work with this, to be honest. But this is interesting. The Leclercs get it. Most of the modern MBTs do get it. I still miss that one too. But if you have any time fuse or even proxy for these vehicles like the Abrams, which did not get it by the way, you will get access, of course, to this. Gaijin, please do not bring it in for tanks. Just, I mean, when it comes to tanks, I mean against other tanks. Aircraft, sure. I don't really see a big use for this against low-flying aircraft unless you're fighting helicopters, because at 7.1 seconds of reload or even 6, it's not really going to be worthwhile to use in my opinion, but just don't bring it in for tanks. Okay, leave it the way it is right now, otherwise you're gonna make top tier just that much more easier, which takes away from the fun and complexity of top tier as a whole. But let's jump back over to the hangar. Okay, so I guess that's going to do it for the major bits in this video, at least. I would go more into detail about some of the other stuff in the game right now, but unfortunately, if I did, this would be a 2-hour-long video, and we don't want to, you know, be sitting here listening to me for 2 hours, right? Jeez, I'd drive myself nuts. But there's a ton of new additions, right? The JH-7A is getting another 29T. Helicopters, helmet mounting system has been added. SU-25BM got a bug in the cockpit where the MFD page is displaying the artificial horizon was misaligned, has been fixed. Kafir C10 HMD interface has been updated. Like, there's a ton of new stuff, new changes to existing maps that make them, you know, higher fidelity, which is very nice. Naval weaponry, just there's a ton of stuff. I will have the link to this down below in the description from what I'm seeing right now, posted up by the amazing Smin, which I know some of you guys have a disagreement with him, but to me, he's all right. But I will say this, IRST or optical lock for the existing vehicles, top tier anyways, is nice. The Americans finally getting this helicopter, and the op lot for the Chinese was kind of interesting, yet Japan won't get access to a VT4. Yeah, I have my thoughts on that, to which I won't discuss here, but I'm pretty sure most of you guys know how I feel about that. So, with all that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen, to watch this. And if I did miss anything, let me know in the comments. Open up that discussion. Don't forget my 3% discount, and you guys know the rest. But as always, I will see you guys in the next major update. Until then, have a great start to your weekend.